The Polygon electric motor consists of two parts, the stator and the rotor. The stator is 3D printed with two holes on either side, for which the axle of the stator will go right through this hole, and this rotor will spin around the stator on this axis. There are two notches on the stator for which you can wind about 300 turns of magnetic wire, and the axle will go right through the center of that rectangle of 300 turns of wires. As the rotor spins on its axle around the magnetic wire, it will create a very strong electric field around as many turns as the wire is, and create an electric field from one end of the wire to the other end. If, on the other hand, an electric current is supplied by an electric power source through the stator coil, the current running through the magnetic field in the rotor will create a Lorentz force, magnetic force, that would turn the rotor around and around. Now let's look at the placement of magnets on the rotor. There are 4 magnets, and what you have here are the magnets are of alternating polarity, for which you have a north pole here, a south pole, and a north pole, and a south pole. Now on top of the magnet is a round iron plate. The magnetic field will go from the north pole to the south pole, north pole to the south pole, and completing a magnetic circuit not only through these lines, but also through the magnets on the other side of the rotor. So on the other side of the rotor, what you have a placement of magnets that are of opposing polarity on the other side. So this is, instead of a north pole facing outward, this is a south pole, this is a north pole, south pole, and north pole. So what you have now is, if you turn this on the side, you will see basically the magnetic line of forces will not only just go from the north pole to the south pole on the iron plate, but also through an air gap from the magnet, where you have the north pole, and then on the other side is a south pole, and which is going through a north pole and a south pole again. So this would create a magnetic circuit that is actually going this way, which is from the north pole to the south pole, down onto the magnet on the other side, and then round like that. So the magnetic field in between the two pairs of magnets is very strong, at a strength of about 1 Tesla.